Hellboy is a simple man. He has a giant right fist and enemies that need to be punched. And that's enough for him. But there's more to that right hand of his than meets the eye. And in this video, we're gonna go over the facts about the right hand of doom. Let's get to it, shall we?
A demon from the abyss, but a paranormal investigator from Earth. Hellboy is widely recognized for his filed-down red horns and the massive stony right hand, an inseparable part of his body. When Dark Horse Comics launched Hellboy with this iconic feature on his right hand, everyone instantly assumed it would be nothing more than an organic weapon popping directly out of his skin. But John Byrne and Mignola proved everyone wrong by introducing a dark, mythical story behind it, presenting the hand as an ultimate deathbringer. So what exactly is the lore behind this hand, and how did it end up in a baby demon's body? To know it all, hang tight with me till the end of this video and we'll get started. What is actually inside that hand, biologically speaking? Hellboy's right hand of doom is more like a cosmic artifact than a normal hand made of flesh, bones, and muscles. When a little Hellboy was first summoned to Earth in the ruins of the old church of East Bromwich, his massive right hand looked absurdly oversized against his tiny demonic body. The baby demon grew into a hulking giant. He finally caught up with the monstrous size of his doom hand. Mythologically, the hand belonged to a cosmic spirit. In the broader picture, it is a demonic key to alter the world's destiny, becoming the most coveted thing in the Hellboy universe. Created by Mike Mignola and scripted by John Byrne, Hellboy, Seed of Destruction, was the first Hellboy miniseries to explore the right hand of doom, hinting at its cosmic relevance in the story. In this 4-issue miniseries, Hellboy fights the frog monsters, hammering through them with his right hand. In the middle of a fight, he boasts that his hand lacks any sensation of pain, while also being confused about its origin and mysterious anatomy. When these frog monsters attack a normal human being, their venomous tongues leave hole-like welts in their victim's skin, draining their body fluids and killing them. But it couldn't affect Hellboy in the same way. He simply used his right hand to shield himself from the attacks, wrapping the tongue around his hand, giving it a sudden yank to fling it away. In the 2004 film by Guillermo del Toro, the hand was designed to look even heavier than a metallic gauntlet. However, the hand can do anything except for normal human tasks, like holding a cup of coffee or a cigarette. And that's where the left hand comes into play. So the Hand of Doom can be an immovable and indestructible weapon, as well as a protective shield for Hellboy. But wielding this massive stony chunk all the time is quite a force to be reckoned with. Where the hand actually came from before it was ever Hellboy's. Hellboy's Hand of Doom existed before the creation of this world, when it wasn't even a weapon, but a significant artifact to subdue evil. God sent the cosmic spirits called the Watchers to protect the Earth, but among them was Anum, who made a dangerous decision that put the world in trouble. Anum had created the 7 fiery dragons of chaos and destruction, Ogdru Jahad, who then went on to spawn a total of 369 monstrous creatures known as Ogdru Hem to be dispersed across the ancient Earth. Seeing so much chaos and disaster, Anum realized his mistake, and he used his right hand as a key to lock the Ogdru Jahad in a cosmic prison cell. But Anum had already committed an unforgivable offense, so the remaining Watchers turned against him, attacking him and destroying his body. Only the right hand remained, which traveled all around the Earth to reach an ancient human civilization of Hyperborea, where the hand was worshipped as a godly artifact and kept as a relic. But then the goddess of darkness, Hecate, unleashed havoc on the civilization, destroying it all. But once again, the hand remained intact. So, traveling across many secret histories of the world, the hand finally reached Hell, where a powerful ruler named Azael finally understood its importance. When his half-human son, Anung-Un Rama, aka Hellboy, was born, Azael cut off the actual right hand of the baby and replaced it with Anum's right hand of doom. In Seed of Destruction, Grigory Rasputin, the Russian mystic who summoned the baby demon to Earth, later confronted Hellboy, revealing how precious this hand could be. However, the series didn't explicitly deal with the origin story, which was later explored in the 2005 comic miniseries called The Island. Although Hellboy gradually learned the origin story and the purpose over time, he still didn't give a single damn about its ultimate role in changing destiny. Rather, He continued to use it like a weapon to smash through his supernatural enemies. The night the right hand replaced his real one. Before Anum's hand became an inseparable part of Hellboy's body, his birth story was quite a tragedy in hell. He was actually a human and demon hybrid, conceived by a witch named Sarah Hughes, who consorted with the Archduke of Hell, Azael, to have this child. But when a dying Sarah tries to cleanse her sins through a church, the Duke got angry. He dragged her down to the abyss, burning her to death and retrieving his child from her. Now that's how Hellboy was actually born in the underworld, before being summoned to Earth on December 23rd, 1944. The entire process of his summoning was portrayed in Seed of Destruction, issue number 1. U.S. Army personnel accompanied by members of the British Paranormal Society were investigating the spooky rituals performed by the Nazis who were trying to summon evil from the underworld to unleash chaos on Earth. On the Scottish coast of Tarmagant Island, the Russian mystic Grigory Rasputin, who fictionally survived the 1916 assassination in Russia and continued his occult practices, performed a ritual to summon a demon. It was an operation named Project Ragnarok, which was under investigation, led by an expert on occult studies, Professor Trevor Bruttenholm, with his fellow experts, Professor Malcolm Frost, and a psychic named Lady Cynthia. Although Cynthia was telepathically witnessing the entire ritual taking place in Tarmagant, she wasn't aware of its actual outcome. The summoning resulted in the appearance of Hellboy in the East Bromwich Old Church. Although Malcolm Frost wanted to kill the baby demon, Bruttenholm grew affectionate towards him. Trevor adopted the baby, who grew up to become their lead paranormal investigator known as Hellboy. How the hand's design and rules shifted across comics, animation, and live action. The right hand of Doom is a massive, oversized hand of red-colored monolithic stone, which doesn't even look like a muscular hand with proper human anatomy. In the original comics, drawn by Mike Mignola, the hand was presented like a holy relic, albeit it was an integral part of Hellboy's body. However, in the screen adaptations by Guillermo del Toro, the hand was designed to be a little more organic and flexible for finger movements, which it wasn't in its comic counterpart. Del Toro made the hand look so heavy that it feels like a physical burden for Hellboy, although it doesn't give him physical pain in that sense. In the 2019 reboot, however, the monolithic appearance was replaced with a more jagged, carved, stony hand. Another interesting thing to note is that in both Del Toro's film and in the 2019 reboot, sometimes continuity errors show that the Hand of Doom has changed its side to his left arm, but it was just an editing issue, not a creative liberty. Nonetheless, in Del Toro's movies, the left hand of Doom was going to be a deliberate creative difference until they found out that Ron Perlman was naturally a left-handed person, so he didn't really need to wear the Doom on his left hand anymore. In the comics, however, Mike strictly kept it a right-hand thing to avoid any fiddling with its origin story. Still, no matter how tiny changes were made in its appearance, Hellboy used this hand mostly as a sledgehammer across all media, whether it's the comics, the movies, or an animated show. Only in the movies does the hand's true purpose receive a literal mechanical demonstration. So, without further ado, let's take a look at the hand's true purpose apart from just being a powerful weapon. What the hand can actually do beyond hitting things really hard. The right hand of Doom, when it belonged to the Watcher spirit of Anum, was used as a cosmic key to seal the fiery dragons of Ogdru Jahad in a crystal cosmic prison. Centuries later, when Hellboy was born and Azazel gave him the Holy Hand, it became his responsibility to set the dragon free, unleash an apocalypse, and change the destiny of this world. But Hellboy, who was raised by a human with the principles of humanity, kindness, and empathy, refused to take part in this apocalyptic mission, and that is why it became a challenge for Rasputin to convince Hellboy to fulfill his destined role. The entire Hellboy comic is based on the protagonist's constant rebellion against his destined role. So, apart from only using it as a weapon, he does another most important thing, which is to protect it from evil. In the 1998 Dark Horse Presents annual short story called The Right Hand of Doom, the son of Malcolm Frost, Father Adrian, told Hellboy the loopholes he needed to know surrounding this relic. The hand can actually function without even Hellboy to fulfill its mission, making it the highest commodity for the monsters of this universe. But if Hellboy dies with the hand attached to his body, its power becomes inaccessible to others, so Hellboy simply keeps it attached to his body to protect it. However, in the 2004 movie, Del Toro showed us exactly how this hand alone can bring destruction into the world. In the climax scene, Grigory Rasputin managed to subdue Hellboy and took Liz Sherman's soul from her body, threatening to keep it unless Hellboy released the Ogdru Jihad. Hellboy agreed and began using his right hand to unlock the ancient stone apparatus. However, John Myers eventually broke free and threw Professor Broughton Holmes' rosary at Hellboy, reminding him that he could choose his own destiny. The hand began to glow, and the broken horns on Hellboy's head grew large and strong. Standing in front of an ancient sculpture, he put his right hand inside a hole to use it like a key. The sculpture created a massive energy beam, sending it directly into the space where one of the 7 dragons broke free from its crystallized prison. However, Hellboy's conscience recovered as his faith returned to him, and finally, he refrained from completing the process. Hellboy once again defied his demonic roots, but in just one instance. The film established how dangerous and destructive this hand can be if the one who wields it has a corrupt mind. The hand as the key to Hellboy's own apocalyptic destiny. So by now, I think one thing has been pretty clear. The entire Hellboy comic series is based on only one question. Can we really change our fate and choose our own path to create our own destiny? Well, Hellboy has the answer to that. Born in a dark abyss of evil and summoned to Earth as Anung-Un-Rama, the beast of apocalypse, his only purpose was to bring ultimate doom to the world. But Hellboy, raised by a compassionate human, chose humanity instead. He became a BPRD investigator who fights against demonic entities instead of joining them. Now that's how he chose his own destiny, completely ignoring the truest purpose of his existence. In one of Mike Mignola's short stories, Pancake, he showed that long ago, Hellboy unintentionally decided to choose his human side. When he constantly nagged for noodles at breakfast, General Norton Riker strictly told him that he could only have pancakes. Having the pancakes for the first time, Hellboy actually liked their taste, which worried the demon lords in hell, thinking that the boy had rejected his demonic roots and aligned himself with his human side, meaning that he would probably never return to his identity as Anung-Un-Rama. And it turned out to be true, as Hellboy embraced his life on Earth, totally forsaking whatever he was meant to do with his right hand of doom. Iconic design elements worth calling out on screen. Hellboy's constant rebellion against his own evil apocalyptic destiny is also beautifully depicted through his appearance. His first ever black and white comic appearance happened in the 1993 published San Diego Comic-Con Comics issue number 2, until John Byrne's Hellboy Next Man, issue number 21, featured his colored version for the first time. His filed-down horns already established his anti-demonic stance, which later became his signature mark in the extended comic canon and in the cinematic universe. Even his iconic samurai-like top-knot hairstyle with a receding hairline and the mutton chops beard with a goatee, all of this came from his very first appearance at the San Diego Comic-Con second issue. The comic issue consists of a short story feature for the convent, so they didn't really reveal much about the right hand of doom, apart from the fact that it's a big deal for Hellboy. So to make it a relevant canon for the character, Mike and Byrne created Seed of Destruction to finally give us some answers about the mysterious hand. The Third Wish, and the story that tests the hand's limits directly. In The Third Wish, a 2-issue comic series, Hellboy was about to lose his right hand, and a big chunk of the mystery surrounding his hand was about to be unraveled. Until it didn't. In this issue, Hellboy was captured by 3 mermaids who pulled him underwater to the realm of the sea witch, Bog Roosh. They put a magical nail in one of the filed-down horns of Hellboy and chained him up. Bog Roosh revealed that she had a dream about the future, where she saw Hellboy die, and his hand of doom brought about the destruction of the world. So, to escape this future, Bog Roosh wanted to kill Hellboy, chopping him into pieces and giving every piece to a different supernatural entity. Finally, she would feed the right hand of doom to a whale. As the whale would die and its body would sink into the pit of the hand would go down along with the dead whale. However, a chained-up Hellboy finally broke free when one of the mermaids, who realized that Hellboy had never really done anything wrong to be punished like this, used her father's magical blade to cut the chains. Once set free, Hellboy realized the Bog Roosh was gaining her powers from the trapped souls of sailors underneath the sea. In the final confrontation, Bog Roosh, impaled by the blade, lost her life, setting those trapped souls free. The mermaid finally replaced the sea witch and became the new Bog Roosh. She pulled out the magical nail from Hellboy's horn and let him swim freely to the shore. Hellboy's Hand of Doom was the most sought-after relic, but it was very difficult for these powerful demons and witches to separate the hand from his body. Ambiguous and debated canon details to flag rather than state as fact. So, it's finally time to settle the debate of whether the right hand of doom can function independently without even Hellboy's body attached to it. For years, since the Seed of Destruction has established the hand as an important part of the story, and the short story Right Hand of Doom declares that the hand can be extremely dangerous if not protected, the possibility has bothered the readers. We wanted to have a definite answer on whether Hellboy's hand can be removed from his body, or what would happen if he dies at the end of this story. So, Mike Mignola finally decided to resolve the issue in BPRD, The Devil You Know, issues number 14 and 15, where Hellboy eventually dies. During the endgame, the right hand of doom is eventually separated from Hellboy and used independently, revealing that its role in the final cycle is more complicated than simply bringing about destruction. So even though the 7 dragons of Ogdru Jahad were released, they were defeated. It was established that the hand can actually function independently of Hellboy. Hellboy returns from his death, and the hand successfully becomes the tool for creation rather than destruction. So according to Mignola, the story comes full circle. But in the middle of all this, a British group of occultists named the Osiris Club tried to seek out the benefit of the Hand of Doom in the Wild Hunt series. They wanted to use the hand to gain a new kind of godhood by harnessing the power of the Ogdru Jahad, but they themselves got tricked by supernatural forces of Nimue and Astaroth, and were destroyed in the end. So, at the end of it all, you'll realize that you have misunderstood the Hand of Doom throughout the entire lore, while in hindsight, its role was connected to the destruction and rebirth of the world. So the right hand of doom is just a misconception because, deep down, the philosophy of this hand is pretty ironic and very similar to ancient mythologies, like Hindu mythology of Kali Yuga, where the death of an old world gives birth to a new creation of life. Well, the writers never really specified which religious mythology inspired them. Instead, Hellboy's lore can be seen as an amalgamation of different philosophies from around the world, making it one of the most fascinating reads. However, this video is over. If you enjoyed it, please hit the like button and subscribe to our channel. Also, don't forget to leave a comment below sharing your thoughts on Hellboy's right hand. Until then, goodbye, and we'll see you in the next one.